Hey, how you doing? Hey. Just bear with me. YouTube's being ridiculous. Hold the line, caller. Ah, there we are. There we are. Soothing voice of Neil. Live on YouTube radio. Yeah, new mic. About time I got my act together with a mic. Got some new sound panels behind me. I mean, literally, I have done everything in my power to get rid of the echo in this room. So I've got 3 absolute council paving slabs behind me, filled with rock wool. I've got the ceilings peppered with acoustic foam. They're not even foam, they're like, I don't know what they're made of, but little, like, 1 foot by 1 foot tiles, about 16 of them on the ceiling. Got foam tiles in front of me. There's literally nothing more I can do, and it's still echoey in here. But that's because the ceiling's like, it's proper hardcore vaulted. It's like hardcore vaulted ceiling, so echo by nature. Yeah, sorry mate, that's getting pretty hardcore, that, like, yeah, the video artifacts, my webcam's losing its mind. I'm gonna have to dip the quality down. I'm gonna have to do 720p this mother hubbard. The weird thing is that the webcam artifacts only happen on XSplit when I'm like using the screen recording software. If I use Windows camera, I don't see them. Tres weird. Right, I have to drop this down to 720. That might stop it. Okay, no it didn't. I'll see how that goes. So I'm in 720p. I mean, Logitech camera. Are you going to notice that much difference? So who we got? 25 viewers. Yeah, I'm only on for half an hour. All I wanted to do in this stream was just I don't know, just have a bit chinwag about the last video. Seems fun, your end, mate. Ah, sweet. Jesus, a live stream, yeah. Been a while, eh? Yeah. I just want to chat about that last video. It was probably a bit of a bombshell. The thing is, like, it kind of was and it wasn't. I mean, obviously I've been reading a lot of the comments on it. All of them, in fact. The weird thing is, it's like nothing's changed. You know, like, I haven't stopped anything immediately. So I'll tell you how this all came about. I'm kind of doing this live stream really just to fill in some gaps from things that I didn't mention in that video. I mean, there was a lot to talk about in that last video, and I must have recorded that like 12 times over the space of 3 days. And like someone mentioned in one of the comments was like, you seem a bit bitter. Like, I'm not. I was just angry with myself for screwing up the recording so many times and just not getting it right. But yeah, there was just a lot to talk. Oh, I'm still artifacting, man. What's the hell? What's the crack? Just damn camera. Don't make me buy a Logitech Brio, honestly. I don't want to buy a Logitech. Oh, it's horrendous. It's the same camera I've been using for, what? Since, I mean, not day one. I had a little HP camera on day one, but I've been using this for about 4 years. What's it? Beef? There's literally nothing I can do. I mean, they've got 2 settings in a web camera. Literally nothing I can do. I'm even down to 30 frames per second. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I was like, "Are you bitter?" No, I'm not bitter. I'm just angry at myself. Because there was a lot of things I wanted to talk about in that video, which I kind of mentioned in some takes, and then I didn't mention in the other ones. And then, like when that last one went out, there were some things that I didn't mention, which I kind of thought, oh man, I really should have mentioned that. So one of the ones was like, I don't think I placed enough emphasis on how like grateful I've been over the years for how well the whole channel's done, and how grateful I am for all the people that have come along. But I think I was caught in the middle of, I don't want to make that video all about me. That was kind of supposed to be more of advice for other people. I thought I spent a bit too long at the beginning kind of waffling about my channel, and then got onto the advice bit. But no, I'm not uncomfortable at how, the back catalogue of the channel being there. I'm not ashamed of the back catalogue, nothing like that. I mean, that's not what that was about. But yeah, the channel nothing's changed. I mean, I haven't been making videos for tips and tricks for, well, I mean, when was the last one? Could you say when the last one was? I mean, it's been like a good 1.5 2 years since I did one, aside from the CAD challenge. What, this camera is absolutely freaking the hell out. I did honestly, I'm not joking, right? I did like a dry run before I went live. I just sat looking at myself for about 10 minutes thinking, are you going to glitch? Are you going to glitch? No, you're not glitching. We're good. We're good at 720p. We're good. So I put it up to 1080. One glitch. I thought, can you hold out on me here? Can you hold out on me here? We cool? We cool? Can you do this? One job. You've got one job. Camera, one job. And now it's just losing its mind. Absolutely losing its mind. Yeah, I've got no options. It's not like I can switch to another one. Anyway, you can minimize me if it's like intolerable. You can minimize me. Is there anything I can play with? I've got no filters on it. There's no effects on it. Full dynamic rate. I mean, tell you what, I'll try one more thing. And then I'm not even sure I can do this whilst that's off. Right, new scene. Right, this is probably just going to go black, isn't it? This is just going to go black. Yeah. Alright, this is a brand new camera device added. We'll see how this goes. Right, it's just a default brand new camera added. If that glitches, the camera's knackered. Right, what was I saying? Yeah, so it's not like there's anything changed as a result of that video. I was reading through the comments. It sounded like someone's died. Oh, I'm so sad. Everything's changed. Nothing's changed. Like nothing. Obviously, the big thing that did change was like I've hid the videos, and that, I guess that was quite a big move. But that's more of a big move for me. I didn't really feel like many people still go back and watch them. If you've been subbed to the channel for a while, I'd be curious to know what reason you'd have to go back to a 5-year-old video and watch them. Like, genuinely, I'd be quite curious to hear that. Friday, it could be Friday the 13th, mate. It's been doing this. I mean, it's still freaking doing it. No, I think the camera's just balked. But then it doesn't do it in Windows camera app. Technology, honestly. Check your graphics settings. Which ones? I've been through all of it. I've been through all of XSplit settings. There's like legacy processing mode. There's CPU processing mode. I've been through them all. I've changed every graphical setting in XSplit. It ain't make the slightest bit difference. Just change it again. Oh, I don't know. It looks like I'm gonna have to buy a goddamn Logitech Brio. Really don't want to. 300 quid, 250 quid or whatever it is for a web camera. Rip off. Goddamn rip off. Anyway, so what else was I going to say as a result of that video? Yeah, another thing I wanted to kind of clarify was, obviously a big part of the message was talking about how software videos don't really work on YouTube. They don't conform to the model. And then someone pointed out how there's, you know, not even a couple of people, but one person's done quite well out of Blender tutorials. As I was delivering that video, I had in the back of my mind someone similar to what I'm doing. Someone doing tutorials on CAD software or design software, licensed software, chargeable software. So it is a bit of a different beast when you're doing tutorials for free software, and especially something that's open source. The market, the viewerage for something that's free is much bigger. So if you're really good, if you're a really likable person, and you're excellent at delivery, then I would imagine there's probably a good chance of doing quite well at tutorials for something like Blender because it's free. But I still stand by the fact that if Blender were, it's not. I'm not going to argue whether it doesn't matter whether it will or it won't, but if it did go chargeable and it became a licensed product, those channels would probably collapse overnight into where the rest of us kind of sat. And that's kind of where I was coming from with that. But a CAD instructor build, I need to find another job. Yeah, it does, like, it feels strange because it's to me feels like such a long time ago where I was making those videos. I've not been in the making inventor videos mindset for quite a while. So it is odd to hear that people are still using them, especially given that they are so old. But yeah, I would have liked to have found a way to make them work, but like I am running the risk of sounding. Oh, and this is another thing that I wanted to clarify as well. Super hardcore clarify was I made a point of saying that, you know, if you want to get going on tutorials yourself, you need to make sure that you only want to do it as a passion project and help people. But you know, because if you want to be a superstar, then it doesn't work. And then that's, you know, I said that in a video where I was kind of saying I'm jacking it in. I just wanted to make it clear that I did not get into it to be a superstar or to get big. It's just that I'm at the point now where I am 7 years into it. So I think I've told the story a few times across the course of the channel, how things got going. But I can tell it again. So this channel started 7 years ago. It was January 2014. And I think I told this in take 3 of the video and I cut it out. So I went self-employed in January 2014. I'd been in full-time employment for 17 years, something like that. So I'd been in full-time employment as a staffy for my entire career. From the age of 16 all the way through to, I don't know however old I was, 35, 36 or whatever. A bit younger, early mid-30s. I must have had 1 week out of work in my entire working life. So I then went self-employed. I was bricking it, like absolutely bricking it going self-employed. Anyone who's self-employed knows, like, when you first jump away from being staff and you don't have that regular sort of payday income every month, kind of come rain, come shine, it's scary. I had a 6-month contract initially, which seemed like quite a good deal, given that like most contracts are short term. But I thought, you know what, I need more security here. So I'd just come out of working for a reseller, an Autodesk reseller, and we'd done quite a few seminars and whatnot, and sort of these on stage events, and I had tons of tips and tricks up my sleeves. So I thought, I'll start a YouTube channel. Let's see how this goes. You know, I'll throw a couple of tips and tricks out on the YouTube. If one company, if one guy in a company local to me sees my videos, which at the time it was just a 0 subscriber channel, you know, but if one person just happens to pass by one of my videos and goes, oh, boss, this guy here boss, this guy on his channel here sounds just like us. He's local to us. We could get him in here for a couple of days training, couldn't we? Sounds like he knows what he's talking about. You know, so if at the time, that was why I started the channel. If the videos got me like 2 days of training, you know, at a company up the road or whatever, then it would have been all worthwhile doing. Legit, that's why I started the channel. But then, you know, and like I said during the video today, they were just 5-minute jobs. You know, I was sat on the carpet in the front room, legs under the coffee table, with a cheap set of Turtle Beach headsets on. You know, just ums and ers and everything into the microphone. And it was 5 minutes of video, and then I just kept doing them. You know, it was pretty easy to do. And then, you know, you get a couple of people coming along, replying to the comments, and, you know, you start engaging with people, and you think, this is odd. You know, people are actually watching what I'm doing. And when you're that small, it's so personal, because it does feel like you're in a room with people. And then you kind of get that connection, and you're so personal with people at that size that you can actually you're almost on the phone to them. You're almost WhatsApping them over YouTube comments. You're almost like having this constant, ongoing, running conversation. Like nowadays, you unfortunately, the way it is, you reply to a comment, and then that comment just gets either buried or you move on to something else, and you unfortunately never see it again. But back then, people can just ask you, you know, I've been thinking about doing this, and you see it, and you see the replies, you see everything. So that's how that kind of videos kept going. And yeah, they just kept coming. I just kept putting them out there. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Whenever I had an issue in the office, just thought, I would make a decent video. Yeah, I would imagine some other people would have that issue. I can see how that would be a bit of a stickler for some people. I would just chuck that out. And that's just how I kept it. Just snowballed like that. And over the next couple of years, it just gradually got bigger and bigger, but at obviously at a very slow rate. And then when I was talking about in today's video about how, you know, you get more expectations put on you, that was at the point where, you know, I started hearing about people within Autodesk watching my videos, you know, because they suddenly started getting noticed by the Inventor team, and then the videos started getting circulated, and then fast forward 7 years later, and goddamn CEOs sees your videos, you know, that's to get that kind of expectations on you. But yeah, I just thought I'd make it clear that I did not get into it because I wanted to be a superstar. Just in case it came across like that. Autodesk are crazy not to subcontract. Well, I'm pretty sure they've thought about it, mate, but I have been approached by them, obviously. I don't know if that's an obviously statement, but I have. But the right jobs never really come along. And I'm at a bit of a disadvantage being in the UK. I think a lot of the jobs that I would have wanted to do would have been states-based, and I'm in the UK. But I've talked about them a lot. And the problem is, you lot, I know, it wouldn't have gone down well if I joined Autodesk. I could not have been, you know, if this was, sort of rewind 5 years. If I joined Autodesk 5 years ago, the channel would have either had to have stopped, or I would have had to have completely changed. You can't, I couldn't have carried on the way I was, with the same candor, the same level of honesty, the same language, the same tone. If I was working for Autodesk, you've got to adopt that corporateness when you're working for a company like Autodesk. It's not even an option. You can't just be that rogue exception. You know, no one person's bigger than a company like Autodesk when you're working for them. So yeah, as much as it kind of seems like quite the obvious sort of good idea to, for that to have happened, it wouldn't have. Yeah, I might have done quite well out of it. I mean, who knows where I would have been now? But the channel would have ended. And there's been a number of things over the years that have almost kind of materialized like that with other big companies. But it was always a case of, if you join us, obviously your channel has to stop because there's a conflict. And I always chose the channel. So it's how it is. But yeah, so I'm still trying to think of ideas for the videos. I think someone suggested in the pinned comment, like, can I not, whilst they're hidden, whilst they're unlisted, can I create a playlist linking to the unlisted videos and then just have that playlist on my channel? I can possibly think about that, but then they'll not be searchable for other people. But yeah, I mean, I get it. I do understand if anyone's like listening to that and going like, you probably just didn't need to do that. I think that's a bit of that's a bit overly dramatic, having to like hide half your videos. Trust me, I didn't do it lightly. That's the majority of my life's work over the last 7 years that I've just hidden. Fortunately, it's not deleted, so it's not gone anywhere, but it is just hidden. So I did not do that lightly, obviously. But I don't know. I'm definitely not ashamed or uncomfortable with the videos being there. It's 100% an identity thing. Over the last couple of weeks, and I think this is due to sort of approaching Christmas, I've been approached by a couple of brands, which is awesome. This is kind of what I've been mostly frustrated about over the last kind of year or so, is the direction I've wanted my channel to go down is required relationships with brands, and I've not had that. And so over the last couple of weeks, I've had a couple of brands get in touch with me. And that's just been amazing, really good. And then it got me thinking, like, I looked at my channel and I thought, like, what would a brand think if they looked at my channel? What would they make of it? And then I thought, how would I explain what my channel is? You know, like, if someone was to say, what do you do? What do you specialize in? I didn't have that identity. I didn't have most channels go, oh, we do makeup tutorials, or we do photography, or we do gaming, we do Minecraft, we do, this. That's our identity. For me, it was like, oh, well, I used to do inventive videos, and then I kind of stopped them, and then I started doing sort of workstation stuff, but I kind of do a mixture of sort of a bit of news, and then it depends. Sometimes it's a bit of this, and then technology for anyone that uses CAD. But it's like, Neil, get a grip. Just get a grip. Figure out what your channel is. Get an identity. Stick to it. Get a theme and run with it. And then part of that was just, yeah, it's the perception of the channel, really. But the tutorials, I felt the only ones that I've hidden are the ones that are not really, that there's not that many views on them. I've left the big hitters up for now, anyway, because they're still getting found. So like the chain tutorial, Inventor Studio tutorial, 3D Sketch tutorial. They're kind of like over 100,000, 200,000 views. So I've left those ones up because clearly those are making their way. They're filtering through YouTube systems and they're being found by people. They're right up high on search results. So that's still quite. It's not damaging. It's not really damaging, but if they still help people, especially like the Learn Inventor under an hour video, so if that's still helping people, you know, if I've got that video in my back catalogue, it's not gonna cause an identity crisis, but it's gonna help a lot of people. So I thought I'll leave it there. Yeah, sorry, mate, John. It is a bummer, but you know, like I said, nothing's changed. You know, I haven't been doing them for a couple of years. And today's decision was actually based on a combination of factors that have like kind of come to light over the last few months. So, I mean, first off, obviously, a lot of the videos are obsolete now. They're old. They were all done on Inventor 2015 through, actually 2013 through to 2017. So the version of Inventor that most of the tutorials were done on is obsolete and dead. So a lot of the buttons, a lot of the interface is kind of off. Yeah, you can still use them, but it's an out of date, end of life version of Inventor. That's one thing. Second, I convinced myself that I would have thought most people who were already part of the channel would have by now gone back through and looked at what they needed to look at. So I kind of weighed things up and thought, right, if I was a typical viewer of my channel, or if I was a subscriber to a channel that I watch, would I still be going through their back catalogue, looking through their old videos after the videos have been there for a couple of years? Is that realistic? And I thought, well, okay, there might be a couple of people who are still doing that, but there can't be that many people still doing that. So that also factored in. And then there was the infusion example. So I did that experiment back in May, I think it was. So the last card challenge, that was the most recent proper Inventor video that I did. And yeah, you know, it didn't do too bad. I think a lot of channels would have been happy with the kind of views that it got. But in the first week that it was out, I think it was sort of 1,500 views, which that's kind of normal for what I'm getting on the average sort of disposable content that I'm doing at the moment. You know, like if I release a video talking about, you know, Autodesk's license and things, you know, Autodesk have shifted their licensing around again. Oh, look what they've done with this license thing. You know, that sort of stuff. So it's not that those kind of views are normal for those videos, but for a CAD challenge, which I kind of expected it to have been like a big hitter. If there's anyone left in the audience who's like proper into Inventor and is actually subbed to my channel because of Inventor, they're just gonna gravitate to that video, and that's gonna be like, it's gonna expose everyone in the audience who's still interested in Inventor. That's where I was going with that. And it was lockdown, you know, everyone's bored. Everyone that was the best opportunity, I figured, to bring everyone out of the woodwork and see who was left in. And yeah, it just didn't do that well, you know. I thought, after all this time, if that's kind of, if those are the numbers that the channel's pulling after all this time, it's a stagnation sensation, you know. So that was another thing. And then the last factor that played into it was the membership scheme, which obviously I can't expect anyone or require or you know, that was a punt. The membership thing, it was a punt on my behalf. I thought, right, so YouTube enabled memberships on my channel 6 months ago, maybe 5 months ago. So most channels, when they enable memberships, they're like, right, $4.99 a month, what do we give people in return? Nada. Absolutely nothing. You get nothing in return for your $4.99 a month. You might get like a little, you know, in chat right now, everyone's got like their profile picture next to their names. So for most channels, $4.99 gets you like a little colourful badge, you know, like that. Or for $5.99, you might get a discount code on some merch you were never going to buy, you know. So I thought, oh, what can... Right. YouTube's just enabled this. I've been waiting ages for this. What can I offer? What can I offer that's of value to the people that subscribe to my channel? Obviously, tips and tricks. That's what everyone came to me for in the first place. So I thought, look, I'm not doing them anymore on the main channel. For reasons that I've explained today, it's just not worth my time. But for the membership program, I could go all out. Let's give this a punt. So I did, and it didn't work. No, it just didn't work. So that was kind of the last. That was just the last thing, you know. I mean, to be honest, I don't subscribe to anyone's channel. You know, I don't join anyone's channel, so I didn't have any expectations. I didn't have any, I didn't have high hopes. It was a punt, but yeah, it didn't work. It was a risk, and it didn't work out. So yeah. So it was really a combination of all those factors that played into it. A lot of your 6-year-old videos are better than a lot of videos from 2020 YouTubers. Well, I mean, I think that was kind of what my pitch was initially when I first started doing it. You know, back in, I think I've offended a lot of people by saying this in the past. I'll try and be less offensive. When I started getting into it, a lot of the tutorials on CAD back in 2014 were either silent, complete silent tutorials. You've all seen them. You know, it's when silent tutorial, massive, huge mouse cursor, and then when the guy clicks, the circles kind of appear on them. They're infuriating to watch. Or an absolute robotic American. Obviously a lot of Americans can be quite charismatic and energetic, but for some reason the ones that do tutorials on CAD were dreadfully boring. So I thought, right, I can come in here and I can just be over the top, ridiculously enthusiastic and energetic. And I did that. Like I was on speed. It was silly. I cringe when I listen back to some of the very early videos when good day, welcome to I was like, wow, Christ, fucking turn yourself down, man. But it was over the top, but some people engaged with that. I think it just kind of made us stand out a bit in what was a very dull crowd back then. But yeah, there was the way things panned out after sort of 3 or 4 years, in addition to all of the reasons that I kind of mentioned in today's video, forces working against you, it did get to the point where I thought, look, I've tried absolutely everything. There's nothing more I can try to kind of make the regular tips and tricks kind of perform better on the channel. I've done the energetic thing. I've done the adding jokes. I've done the, straight to the point. I've done the adding extra experience, adding extra knowledge. I've done the, I've tried everything. I've tried every trick in the book to make, but then YouTube just doesn't put in the work for you. Some videos you chuck out there, that can be the best video for anyone using Inventor, but if YouTube ain't going to spread it, if YouTube ain't going to recommend it to people, or, if people aren't searching for it, they get buried, So it gets you a bit deflated after a while. And that's what I was kind of saying before about how it's not always about numbers, but, when I first got started, I would do that. I would create a video, chuck it out, didn't care what kind of numbers it got, just chuck it out there. But when you are like 5 years in, 4 years in, and you've spent a lot of time making them. I mentioned today about how like 5 minutes turns into 3 hours editing. There's also the preparation time that goes into these videos now. I remember in the very early days, I would just like, I'm bored. All right, let's start recording. But then once I knew Autodesk were watching and there was an audience, I had to like research what I was going to do, make sure that everything I was going to say is actually factually correct. Make sure I'm not, because I guarantee every video that I did, someone from Autodesk would email me afterwards and say, actually, Neil, you said this at 2 minutes and 17. That was in Inventor 2015.2, we corrected that. So you might want to just saying, like, God's sake, you know. So yeah, there's still a lot of the preparation work in addition to the videos being recorded and then edited. So, but yeah, all that time getting put into them, yeah, that's when you start to want to see progression. And I get the feeling that, like, a lot of people who do tutorials and want to make educational content are the kind of people who like progression. You know, they are perfectionists and they like to see improvement and make themselves better, which in almost all cases will lead to what you do taking more time, and then you want to see you know, a bigger return from it. So it's, you know, just one of those things. Hey, we are 7 years into it, you know. It's, I feel like I'm explaining it away, but at the end of it all, you know, I think we all had a pretty good deal out of it. You know, I had fun, made some awesome videos. It was a great run. I had a great ride, you know. So there's nothing to complain about. You know, just kind of run its course. Brian, wait, what is happening? Why last video? What is happening? Mate, no, it's now. Just it's no big deal, mate. You can watch afterwards. You can watch afterwards. We can fix this. We can't fix this one. Yeah, the robot tutorials were rubbish. I mean, you do still see them these days. What was infuriating for me was, like, when you'd open a tutorial and someone would have an absolutely dreadful mic. They're like, "Hello, hi, welcome to this tutorial. Sorry about that. Sorry, I need to buy a better microphone." And you're like, how can you have such an awful microphone? It's like 2016. Everybody has a good microphone. Every laptop, everything has a good microphone. How can it be this bad? You know, like what excuse can you? I don't know. And that still happens today. You see some people that sound like they're recording through their phone into their PC. This sounds like the. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I'll now be performing a tutorial on AutoCAD 2020. Sit back, strap up, and we'll look at how to draw some squares and circles. It's like, what? You can buy a USB microphone for $10. But I don't know, that's for a lot of people, that's the fun of the progression. You know, you're supposed to start out that bad, and then you eventually get either told, or you learn, or I don't know, you just realize eventually that your audio's crap and it needs fixed. You know, at some point you've got to get on that, but some people don't. Moon landing. Yeah, I'm loving this Go XLR, man. This is awesome. I've got all the swear words beeped out, and yeah, I've echo and a megaphone. Megaphone for some reason. I don't know why I would want this. Why would anyone ever want this? Beats me. But no, it's awesome. I've got like sliders for music. Apparently this is what streamers use. I bought it because here's a funny story. Should I tell this story, or is this going to expose me for being an absolute incompetent cretin? Nah, we'll tell it. Right, you see this mic here? So this is a Sennheiser shotgun mic. I've had this for 3 years. I've recorded probably 10 videos off of this shotgun mic, and it has sounded absolutely toilet every video that I've made with it. Absolutely toilet, and I've never understood why. When I bought it, I researched it ish, and it sounded awesome when I researched it. Everyone was buzzing about this mic. Oh, it's awesome. It picks up only, you know, people talking into it, and it disregards surround sounds and all that sort. I was like, oh yes, that's exactly what I want. Oh yes, I'll take that. I plugged this thing in and it sounded god awful. It was only recently that I realized you're not supposed to use an XLR to a 3.5mm headphone jack adapter. So what I was doing is I was going straight from the XLR cable straight into a headphone jack. Apparently that's not okay. That's why it sounded awful. And that's why I was spending like a good hour in editing trying to make the audio sound good. Apparently it needs phantom power. I don't know. I'm not a fucking audio engineer. Phantom power paradox. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who knew? I haven't got time. Who's got time to look into these things, man? I've got better things to research. But I've got this Go XLR now. You know, it was when I moved into this room and Echo was kicking around and I thought, I'm going to have to get my audio sorted out. I really need to. So I've bought this bad lad. Loving that mic. It's awesome. So that's XLR. Into a Go XLR. All my sliders and that. And I've got the shotgun set up. So this is a dynamic mic. This seems to... it disregards a lot of the echo just by default. Just because it just excludes a lot of the surround noise. Any plan to live stream more? I might do now, mate. You know, that it might not mean anything to you lot, but today's video was... That was more for my benefit to just... You know, every time I've wanted a live stream in the past, I've always... It sounds pathetic, but I've always felt like, I'm doing a live stream. It's not about Inventor. People are going to complain. I'm going to have to make it about Inventor. I'm going to have to sign a Weave Inventor. I'm going to have to open up Inventor at some point. Someone's going to ask me to open up Inventor and do some, fix some issue in Inventor, tell them how to do something in Inventor. And I don't want to. I don't want to. But now, like, today's video is kind of... The whole point of it was me going, that bit's over. That's over. Not doing that anymore. So now I kind of feel okay in doing this stuff more. So yes, I probably will. But just to be clear, I don't hate Inventor. I don't hate Inventor at all. I'll still be working with Inventor on the channel more than any other application. Obviously with the benchmark app, and I don't know. I'm just thinking, should I still be doing the what's new videos every year? I don't know. But like Inventor's still a massive part of my life. It's still my day job, to manage a group of users that use Inventor. So yeah, not against Inventor or anything like that. King of the Inventor cult. Yeah, it's not that big of a cult. Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned this, but like Inventor's, it's only got a certain. Well, I mean, it's the same as every application. There's only a limited number of people in the world using it. Like the comparison that someone made to Blender. Just say, for example, if random number Inventor had 1 million users, so if there was 1 million people in the world using Inventor, and you're doing tips and tricks for Inventor, then that's your reach. That's the maximum number of people that you could possibly ever speak to and your videos could reach. I don't know if I'm just wired wrong, but I don't like that idea. I don't like knowing that I'm like capped. But with something like Blender, because it's free and open source, it's just, I mean, obviously there's not infinite people using it, but there's so many more people using it that you've just got a far bigger reach. But that applies for any AutoCAD. But AutoCAD's, I mean, there's probably, exponentially more people using AutoCAD than Inventor. But the cult does have a Bible hardware. Yeah. So for the hardware stuff, I'm quite looking forward to that. I've got a laptop over here, which was sent in yesterday. So I'm putting that through its paces. And then I might have another couple coming in pretty soon afterwards. But I just need to work on a template. I need to get a template sorted for creating videos on them rather than just sort of winging it as I go. So it's a me problem to work out. Can we do a power move so he's not? I'm not sad, mate. I'm not, honestly, I'm not sad at all. There is no sadness over here. I am actually happy after today because a weight has been lifted off my chest after today. That's what today was about, was lifting a weight off my chest. I'm not actually, there's nothing sad about today at all for me. I mean, my ad revenue's dropped. I'm a bit sad about that. It's even worse than it was before. It will be once it kicks in, you know, once YouTube eventually gives me my next. So I don't even, calling it a paycheck is an insult to paychecks. But no, there's no sadness. Could be with your channel, could be NX tutorials. Yeah, I mean, over the years, that's one of the things where a lot of people obviously suggested, you know, why don't you try other things? Why don't you go into other areas? Try doing SolidWorks, try doing NX, try doing Creo, you know, bring in different people from different you know, audiences. In theory, that's cool. There are channels that do that, actually. There's there's a guy that follows me. Sorry, I really apologize if you're watching this. I can picture your name and I can picture your comments, but I can't recall your name. But there's a guy who follows me and he does tutorials on all different kinds of, pretty much them all. I can't do that. The only reason I feel like I got as good as I did with my channel was because I know what I'm talking about with Inventor. If I was to move into NX or Creo or SolidWorks, I'm not an expert on those. Like, I could probably try, but you know, I can't. So I should have probably mentioned. Well, actually, today's video wasn't really about, hey, how can you be great at tutorials on YouTube? It was like, hey, this is why you shouldn't do it. But one of the things where I always approached every video that I did, right? Every single video in my entire back catalogue was done with a single mentality in mind, and it was, right, I will not release a video on anything unless I can win an argument with somebody on the subject matter. So pick anything that I've ever done, anything. If someone was to challenge me on it and say, you did that wrong, I'd be able to argue with them and argue that I'm right and have reasons and evidence and experience and knowledge to back it up. I would never make a video on anything unless I could hold that argument. And that was the entire kind of ethos to my channel. I couldn't do that with SolidWorks. I couldn't do that with NX. You know, I could tinker and go, ooh, I've just learned how to do this in SolidWorks. This looks like something I can make a video on. But then if someone was to pop up and go, yeah, but you could have done it this other way, I'd have been like, can you? Then I'd have to go and find out, you know, and I don't know. But then, even those other channels that do tutorials on everything, they're not pulling in massive numbers. You know, I think they have the problem that I had, but sort of times 5. It just wasn't something that I was particularly interested in doing, you know. If somebody from SolidWorks was to come and see a video on my channel and then they were to subscribe to the SolidWorks tutorial that I did, but then sort of the next few videos that came out were Inventor ones, and then they were like, well, when's the next SolidWorks one coming out? I'm like, pressure. I don't know when the next SolidWorks one's coming out. So no, it wasn't something that I actually seriously considered. It was suggested, but it was never really considered. The cat trolls. Yeah. Thanks, Stickio Mickio. Yeah, so nothing's deleted. They're just hidden. Have you considered doing drifting videos? I've considered doing all sorts, mate. If I could find somewhere to drift, I don't think there's anywhere I could drift on. Yeah, I would do if I could. If someone wants to supply me with tires, I'll do it. But it's not a bad idea. Oh, actually, no. No, I mean, I have thought about doing another channel. I've got a couple of other channels which I do bits and pieces on, but you know, this one I've put so much time into. It's always the one that I've come back to and kept on going with. Inventor certification always bothered me compared to the SolidWorks certification. Yeah, that's something that, honestly, this year, I really wanted to go balls deep with Inventor certification. And I'm a bit annoyed with the team that runs Inventor certification that they haven't got in touch with me. That sounds really egotistical, but I feel I'm okay with saying this. My channel over the years has been the biggest source of education online for Inventor. I'm not aware of anyone else that was bigger over the years. But the team that ran the certification never once approached me and said, hey, you look like a great stepping stone into our certification platform. Let's work together. Every time I contacted them to try and get just even a test paper from them, they just weren't interested, you know. And then this year, the exam this year, I just don't understand it. They went from just what was apparently a very simple just idea. You sit an exam, you answer some questions, you pass, and you get certified. They've went from that to this absolute clusterfuck of role-based thing. You know, you're a manufacturing or a mechanical engineering exam or a I don't know. They've just got these role-based certifications. Like, get over yourselves, man. You're selling software. Like, I know you want to appeal to the roles and to the people, into the positions, but you're a software company. People are certifying themselves at your software. Just step down. Stick to what you know. So I never understood it. I went to AU last year. I even had it explained to me, and I still don't understand it. And then you can do the exam this year from your own house, and apparently you've got to actually take a picture of your own house to make sure that nobody's hiding around a corner and helping you cheat on the exam. You've got to make sure that you've actually got to take a picture of your desk and the surrounding area. I'm not even joking. It's ridiculous. But, you know, I thought that would have been, like, selfishly for me, that would have made awesome content, that, because there was obviously a lot of interest in that, but it didn't. There was nothing I could do with it. Like, I can't get a test paper, so I can't make content around the questions when I don't know what the questions are. Yeah, and then they just didn't get in touch. There's no interest. And this is one of the things that I've criticized that particular part of Autodesk for over the years, is that how many people actually know you can get certified? Not many. You know, everyone knows about SolidWorks. Everyone knows about SolidWorks certification. Every single friggin' SolidWorks user knows about SolidWorks certification. Hardly anybody who uses Inventor knows you can sit an exam and get certified on it. Why? Because they just don't bother marketing it. They don't bother doing proper PR on it. And somewhere like my channel would have been perfect for that. It's the biggest online resource for people that are using Inventor. I absolutely dwarf the official Autodesk online social media channels. Like, bury them. But they just don't. I mean, I'm not saying that to be it's just a fact. You know, people don't generally go to Autodesk's official social media channels because it's usually just marketing corporate messages that come through them. So people just don't want to listen to it, you know. But anyway, I was not obliged or entitled to anything. I just thought that would have made sense. I tried to get in touch with them. Just ended up getting punted into a black hole. Whoever goes to official social media for corporations, when that's the only place they offer technical support, that's probably when they do. Which that drives me nuts. It's like your internet goes down or your TV's offline, and you're like, why is it? You go like 6 hours without the internet, and then it's like, what the hell happened? Oh, didn't you check our Twitter? I'm gonna check the Twitter when the internet's offline, you bellends. I don't know. So yeah, that's. I think I'm gonna another 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna drive a few laps around the Nürburgring, mate. Got me steering wheel back, sent it back to Fanatec because it was faulty. So I'm gonna go and jump in that, and then do some laps around the Nürburgring. Aye. Ready for Turkey GP this weekend? Yes. Have I got? Oh no, I've watched practice 1 and practice 2. I was watching them sliding around like they were driving on ice. I'm not sure what the race is going to be like on Sunday. It doesn't look like the most exciting of tracks, but this season's a bit... it's not the best season so far. It's a shame they're pushing the regulations back another year. I was really looking forward to the new regulations in Formula 1 coming in next year, but that's life. It's a pity Autodesk didn't appreciate. It's all right, mate. I didn't. It actually Stickio, Mickio. Just on that note, yeah, I should probably set this record straight as well. Autodesk definitely did appreciate me. I have nothing but absolute huge gratitude and thanks for Autodesk, because genuinely, without Autodesk, this channel couldn't have actually carried on. Right in the early days, 2014 to 2015, I was using... I don't think I can get sued for this. I was using a license from the company I worked with to make the videos. What they're going to do. But then in 2015, I got invited onto the Expert Elite program. I think it was 2015, might have been 2016. So they saw the videos that I was doing. They were like, he's helping quite a lot of people there. So I got nominated onto this Expert Elite scheme. And then they gave me all the licenses that I use on the channel. So without that, and that is Autodesk's appreciation. That's Autodesk saying, hey, look, we love what you're doing for our community. You're making videos for our community. You're helping them out. So in return, we're going to invite you onto this program. We're going to give you every single license in our portfolio for free. So I can install anything that Autodesk have. Every license Autodesk has, I can install it for free and I can use it on the channel. In addition to that, I get discount on trips to AU. I get sort of merch sent to me, and I get invited onto webinars for sort of what's coming up and insights into what Autodesk are doing. All kinds of stuff. Autodesk definitely do appreciate what I do and what other people in my space are doing. So there's no question of that from me. From a perspective of like, oh, you know, if you mean they should have gave you a job, that was never on the cards. I didn't want one. You always thought I was a part of Autodesk. No, mate, no, never. No, I was never a part of Autodesk. I've never wanted... I mean, at one point in my past, I would have probably jumped to Autodesk. But, you know, as you go through your life, things change. You want different things at different stages of your life. And, yeah, it got to a point where I was like, yeah, actually, no, I probably wouldn't. It would have to be a pretty decent, special, certain type of job for me to go to Autodesk at this point. Yeah, so I just didn't. But no, I was never part of Autodesk. That was never the case, mate. It's one of the best parts of your channel that you weren't part of Autodesk. Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier on, mate. If I did join Autodesk, then everything would have stopped. You can't be yourself if you're part of a company and you're speaking on behalf of a company. The message has to be diluted. It has to be vetted, approved. You know, everything you're saying has to be approved. So, yeah. Like I said before, there's been a number of conversations had in the past with various companies. I'll not name names just in case at some point I decide to make the jump. But yeah, there's been a number of discussions with some big companies, like biggest in the world size companies, who said, "Look, hey, we've got a possible job here. You'd be pretty good at that." I'm like, not sure I would. And I'm gonna have to what's that? I'm gonna have to end my channel for that. Nah. You know, or if I was to join somewhere, they would have to check any videos that I do. They would have to check them before I upload them. I was like, nah. It needs to be a slightly higher profile job than that before I do something like that. But yeah, you like the software and had fun working with it. Enough said. And yes, mate. That's well put. Well put. Is there a plan for the future of the channel, or is it a work in progress? So there is a plan. There's always been a plan. It just depends whether I can actually materialize that plan into anything. So the challenge that I've got, I can't remember if I actually mentioned this in the take that actually went live today. So what I want to do is I still need to keep the channel relevant to my skill set, which is obviously Autodesk stuff. And that's what you guys are mostly involved in, which is Autodesk stuff. I've got a lot of contacts in Autodesk. I've got a lot of affiliations with Autodesk. And like I said, that's my skill set. So it would be crazy to move away from that and not leverage that. And that's where my credibility comes from. The problem I've got is, it's not really a problem, but just the solution I need to come up with is how to create videos that are relevant to a wider audience, possibly outside of just the Autodesk customer base, but also still leverage those skills that I've got. So they've also got to be interesting to me. So like the likes of, you know, workstations and laptops and VR and any kind of technology. Just, yeah. I need to pick a theme, something that's, you know, just, if it is just technology for someone who works, or technology for the Autodesk customer base, or technology for professionals, or just a theme, I need to pick it and stick with it, instead of flip-flopping around and, you know, one day I'm doing that and then the next day I'm doing I don't know, a bloody camera review or something, you know. What is your degree, and if you've got one? I don't have a degree, mate. I don't have a degree. I left school at 16. I got a job as an apprentice civil engineer at 16. They put me through college, where I did I'm hesitant to call it qualification. It's a ONC in civil engineering. Can't remember a damn thing. Can't even remember actually attending college. Don't even remember what the college looked like. It was that long ago. And the plan was to go to university. But then I left and I joined the police, and I was a policeman. Copper, Bobby on the beat, for about a year and a half, 2 years. So that happened before I went to university, and then I left the police, went back into kind of working in design, but working as an AutoCAD drafty, and then things just progressed from there. Went straight into working in an Autodesk reseller, doing kind of IT/AutoCAD. This was back in 2004, so there was no, I mean, Inventor existed, but it didn't exist. So it was like AutoCAD, IT, that kind of stuff, and then just progressed from there. So no, I don't have a degree. I don't do engineering, and someone actually criticized me on the channel the other day. It was just, I mean, on the channel, it was a comment. Someone passed a comment on me saying, "Oh, you know, you never do engineering. Don't do any design. You don't do anything like that on your channel. You're rubbish." Like I've literally, you know, I said just before that one of the things that I've always made a point of doing is being able to win an argument on any video that I do. The second thing that I've always done since day one is to make it abundantly clear that I'm not an engineer. From the moment I started making videos, I knew, because it's Inventor, I could come across like I was a design engineer. And I said, right, I need to make it absolutely, don't even hint, don't even give the suggestion that you might be an engineer, because I'm not. I've been an IT guy / software guy / consultant my entire working career. And for the past 10 years, I've been more of a data management consultant than anything else. I have never, I've said this before, but I don't know how many people heard it, but I have never sat in front of an Inventor workstation and designed something on Inventor. I've never worked on a billable project on Inventor, ever. I've never done a drawing in Inventor in production. Are you shocked? Are you surprised? Never. I've never actually modeled something in Inventor that's been made. It's not my job. It's not what I do. You know, those who can't teach, I probably can. I just haven't. The thing is, like, from day one, I've made a point of saying I'm not an engineer. And that's because I am, honestly, I'm not even interested in engineering. It's not been something that I've ever actually even been remotely interested in. I respect it. I find it fascinating, but I'm not interested in doing it. I've never wanted to be in engineering. I've never wanted to do any design. I just appreciate the software. I appreciate the technology that goes into the software and how it works. But I don't want to be the person that uses it. It's just, I've got a very, very weird and unique job. Yeah, did it damn good. Thanks, man. But all through this, I've never hidden that. I've never masked it. I've been very transparent about the fact that I've never. You could troll. I mean, before I hit them, you could troll through every single video. I've never given any engineering advice. Never given any. I've never even suggested or hinted at any kind of engineering advice or assistance, you know, or suggestions, or I wouldn't do that way. That's that looks like a dodgy way of putting that bolt together. You know, I've never even, not even a remark like that, not once throughout my entire tenure on this channel. Been very careful with that. I mean, I know I don't really need to be. I need to be careful because it's just not what I do. You know, it's not the world I'm in. Yeah. Sorry, Ida, on your comment got blocked. I'll show it. Don't need an engineering degree to make shit work. You don't. There is some stuff that I'd actually quite like to make. I've got some ideas on like stuff that would be quite cool. You know, like everyone's got that sort of invention that they'd love to make. You know, like a get rich quick kind of invention. I've got stuff like that which I'd like to do, but yeah, I've never actually sat down and done anything. Where did you get all your experience? For the most part, in working for the Autodesk reseller. Morning Chaos, mate. Long time no see. Yeah, working for the Autodesk reseller. So I joined in 2004. They're called Symmetry. They're in the UK. Still going. They're the largest reseller in Europe, I think. They're basically like they've just consumed every other reseller in Europe. They're just gobbling up every reseller. So I joined them in 2004, and this was when Symmetry was, I think it was like 5 of us at the time, based out of the northeast of England. And it was just AutoCAD, shifting boxes, doing IT support and working with AutoCAD. But then Inventor was kind of growing at the time, so I joined them. And as Inventor started to grow, we had one guy called Simon who, his name's not relevant. I don't know why I said his name. Oh, Simon. Yeah, I know who Simon is. Oh, yeah, great guy. But he left, and then we needed someone to do the Inventor training courses. and we didn't have anyone, so I was kind of thrown in. And I remember this really clearly. It was one of the reasons that kind of got me a head start on the tutorials, is that I, even to this day, remember how shit scared I was of Inventor back in 2004, 2005. And whenever support issues came through on our support desk for Inventor, I used to just go to the toilet. I'd go, just sort of walk away from my desk, just pretend like I'm going for a break, hope someone else picks it up. I was terrified of it. It was just such a mind-bogglingly complicated looking bit of kit. But then once this Simon bloke had left, I just got thrown in there. The boss was like, look, you're doing a training course next week or the week after, or whenever it was. You're going to have to get up to speed on it, mate, because you're doing a training course on this soon. And you're going to start doing pre-sales demos. So it was probably more the pre-sales demos that got me my experience. So what I did was in fact, I think I've shown these on an older live stream, but I suppose some of you guys have been newer. Where it be at? It'll be in here. It's not that one. I know you can't see anything. Hold the line. Right. Right, that there. So that is the first ever model that I ever modeled in Inventor. So that was the laptop I was using. And to learn Inventor for myself, I went home every night, sat in the house, and I just modeled the laptop that I was using. That was how I learned it. No books, no training courses, no... YouTube didn't exist. I mean, I think this was before YouTube, so 2005-ish. Might be slightly afterwards, I can't remember, but it was sort of roughly around that time, way before YouTube even had all this stuff on it. I just modeled the laptop, trying to figure out how do I get the buttons a weird, that weird sort of shape that they're not perfectly. So how do I do that? How do I get this weird? They had this irregular shaped fillet going along the edge. How the hell do you do that? And for every single thing that you had to do, but you didn't know how to do, you would have to go and find how to do it. And it's one of those things that to this day really winds me up, is when people come across things like that in their own line of work and they just stop and shut down. And then they just ask for help straight away. I don't mind people asking for help when they've sort of exhausted all their options. But there's so many people at the moment, like, I'll get in trouble for saying anything more than that, but a lot of people who just, oh, I don't know what to do. Help. When all it takes is for them to just click around, experiment. Just see, look through the tooltips. Investigate, it's be interested, And that's what I did. Like, how do I get the picture onto the screen? How do you do that? How do you get what your screen's showing onto the screen? I mean, it was the Windows XP days, for God's sake, The disk tray, this came out, it popped in and out. The hard drive caddy, how did that come in and out? So that's how I learned it. And from that point onwards, it was pre-sales demonstrations. So a salesman would arrange a demonstration with a customer that probably used AutoCAD. These are probably few and far between now, but so a customer would use AutoCAD. The salesman would make contact with them and say, right, hey, have you heard about this Inventor thing? That Inventor what thing? It's Inventor. It's like 3D. Oh, we don't need 3D. We're doing just fine with AutoCAD. No, 3D is mint, man. You get your bill of materials and your parts lists and all this kind of stuff. So we would go down with a projector, laptop, me and a salesman, boardroom, managing director, CEO, all the stakeholders and all that. I'd sit on the table, project onto the wall, and I would just bullshit them for a good hour. But leading up to that, I would do preparation before I go down there. So I would look at what the company does, look at their products, and then model them in 3D before I actually go down there. So I think I've got an example here. if it's gonna open. Why is this not opening? Oh, there he is. So something like that. So that was like a 2D AutoCAD drawing, which I just looked at it, visualized it, and then went, right, I'll model that in Inventor. So we went down to this company that make these and showed them that in a projector. They'd only ever seen those in 2D AutoCAD. When they saw that in 3D, sale straight away. And that was really quite rewarding. So why the hell are these opening off screen? This is really annoying. That's another one there. That's Inventor, sort of circa 2007, 2008. Inventor Studio. It's not bad actually for a render for back then. So yeah, that's how I learned it. And yeah, I get an iPod. So I was just modeling stuff that I had. You know, that was my iPod. You know, the sweep and the cable. Like how do you do that? How do you get that sweep to go around there? And you just 3D sketch. 3D sketch. So yeah, I kind of do run out of patience quite quickly with people who. There I am. I'm back. Yeah, I do run out of patience quickly with people who just shut down whenever they can't do something and they don't have the willingness to sort of go and at least try and help themselves, because it is within everyone's ability to do that. Yeah, most people are lazy. Yeah, they are. They're lazy and more disinterested than anything else. It's you know, if people were interested in what they did, then they'd probably quite enjoy poking around the software, poking around the buttons. What does this one do? What does that one do? But they just don't. You know, they just shut down. How do I do this? Not even tell me how to do it. Just do it. Do it for me. Fix it for me. I've got to a point now. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it for you. Figure it out. Where are you going? Why are you quitting? I'm not quitting, man. I'm not quitting YouTube. This was just about formalizing the end of my my tutorials, which had already ended, mate. I'd already stopped them a couple of years ago, but I was just announcing that they've stopped, but they'd already stopped. It was just a mental thing for me to just announce it. But the tutorials have been hidden. They've been unlisted off YouTube. Any plans to do another render challenge or some kind of show us your work? Do you know what? That's a good question. When I was going back through the back catalogue there and unlisting them all, I came across Render Wars. It's something I've not thought about in ages. And you know what? Is every time I see Render Wars, I think how much of an absolutely awesome idea that was. But it just didn't take off. It was so... I was, even at the time, I was staggered at how few people were interested in that. And I can't figure out whether that was, like, at the time, situational of, like, the mentality of the audience at the time, whether that was just an audience of people going, I only want inventive videos, this isn't that, therefore I'm not interested. Or was the content just crap? You know, I don't know. But I honestly thought, and even do still think, that was a really good idea. What's a pod pack? I don't know what a pod pack is. See you there, Timo. But yeah, I'd love Render Wars. It was a lot of editing to put those together. But they were worth it, you know. It got people working on them and making renders, submitting them. And I quite enjoyed it. But you're talking like 1,000, sometimes 500 to 1,000 views per episode. And it just, yeah, it didn't work. I had to see it through. I had a prize. I think it was a space mouse at the end of it. But a pod pack of tutorials. No, mate, it's... nobody would buy them. Everyone says they would, but they won't. I experimented with the membership, mate, and not many people joined up, so I don't think anyone would. Yeah, but Chaos thing, it wasn't more about like a lack of submissions. It was more about just people viewing it. It was the viewers. I don't... Yeah, I guess I could probably address that quite quickly. You know, if someone was absolutely outstanding and it put everyone else off. But then, yeah, it's just nobody was watching them. Like, no viewers were watching them, which was, I don't know. I mean, we're talking sort of, what was it, 3 years ago when Render Wars came out? Might be different now, but I don't know. I'll have a think about it. If I can do it sort of in collab, like if I can tie that in somehow with, you know, the workstations that I'm going to be sent, or the new direction that I'm going down, then yeah, it could possibly work. You know, because back then we didn't have RTX. You know, RTX didn't exist back then. So, yeah, could be an idea. Podcast of your tutorials. Podcasts audio only though, isn't it? My tutorials were very visually intensive. You know, I think visuals were quite an important part of it. Am I still working on the benchmark tool? Yeah, mate. The benchmark tool is... How far are we into this video now? We are... I think we're a good hour and a half into this video. Right, what I can do... I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the leaderboard. Nobody's ever seen... Actually, a couple of people have seen this, but... I've got a prototype of the leaderboard. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So for anyone that doesn't know, I'm working on a benchmark tool which has a number of tests, quite a few. It's going to test a workstation's capability on Autodesk Inventor. It'll run a number of tests, score each test, how well the workstation performed each test on Autodesk Inventor. At the end of the test, it's going to give you a number. That number is going to be called the INVMARK score, INVMRAK. M-A-R-K. It's going to then upload that score to a leaderboard. Once it gets to the leaderboard, it'll be graded. It'll be given like a badge. It'll be given a tag. And then your system specs will also be uploaded to the leaderboard. So, you ready for this? First ever sneak peek of the TFI leaderboard. So it's very Karak branded. I don't mind that. They've done a lot of work on this. Karak have financed and funded the leaderboard. So I have insisted that they have a strong presence on the leaderboard. Oh, hello. That's my music playlist. I need to bring chat back. So, down here we've got these scores. These scores don't mean anything. These were just random numbers. But next to each score, you're going to have like a little badge. The badge is going to be grouped based on the scores. So, number 1 will be the highest score. And then that'll be given a color. There'll only be one score, that color, because that's number 1. Then all other scores that are within a percentage of the top score, so like the next, I don't know, top 5%, for example, they'll be given another color and then given a name. And then within each of these, you're going to see sub-scores. So there's going to be a single core score, a multi-core score, there's going to be a modeling score, drawing score, assembly score. Each workstation will be graded based on how it performed at each individual point test and collection of tests. And the system specs are going to be uploaded. When you click into here, view complete report, you'll see an even further like granular breakdown of the benchmark tests. You'll see more benchmark scores. So we've got roughly, I don't know, 15 more of these sort of sub-scores. Individual test scores, more system specs. So that's the first sneak peek of the leaderboard. You'll be able to see like your highest rank. If you've uploaded more than one workstation, you'll be able to see. So if you've got like a workstation and a laptop, and if you upload them both, you'll be able to see both your scores up here with your highest rank. You can download the application straight from here. We've also got a mobile app as well. I don't know if it's a mobile app or whether it's a mobile version of the website, but we've got a mobile version of it as well. But yeah. So this is where we're at the moment. This is the next stage of development, is getting the website right. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, the website is a huge part of this. It's all well and good testing. It's all well and good spitting out a number, but once the number and the test is uploaded, I need to make sure that information's actually, something's done with it. So inside of this website, we're going to be able to run I think in 2.0, we're going to be able to run comparisons between people's scores. So pick one score, pick another score from another user, run a comparison, see how your workstation compares to another person. You're going to see a history of your score. So if you run the test 10 times and upload 10 times, it'll give you a history of each of your 10 scores. So you can then click, maybe do an overclock or tweak your RAM timings or put a different graphics card in, for example, and then run the test again and then see how the test differs from one test to the next as your system changes. We're going to put in filters. So you'll be able to filter the website based on workstation. So this website's going to have probably hundreds and hundreds of entries on there. So show me all of the entries on the leaderboard that have got a Ryzen 5000 series CPU, and show me all entries on the leaderboard that have got an RTX 3080 in. So we're going to be able to filter them all out based on that. Show me all the Dell Precision 7750 workstations. We'll be able to filter them based on individual components and actual workstation names. So yeah. Link. What do you mean link the GUI? What does that mean? I don't know what link the GUI means. You mean of the actual app? So with that tool, I can buy the best laptop from Inventor. Yes. Yeah, you can. So another thing I'm going to have is I found, it's always been there. But last week I found a bit of metadata within each workstation, which identifies whether it's a laptop or a desktop. So I'm going to upload that, and then you'll be able to see on the leaderboard which line items are laptops and which ones are desktops. And then in the filter, you'll be able to say, only show me laptops, only show me desktops. And then you'll be able to see which laptops are at the top. The ones at the top obviously will be the ones that are running Inventor the best, but they're going to be more expensive. So you'll be able to just scroll down the list and see which ones are not as high up, but still pretty high up. But I'm also going to try and put a bit of effort into making sense of what the scores mean. So these badges are going to sort of come into that in a little way. So these are sort of gamified badges, and I'm basing it on like World of Warcraft sort of, or game color schemes in terms of like orange, purple, blue, green, gray, like from top down to bottom. But it's not going to be called legendary and epic. It'll be called sort of best in class. Whatever. I've still got to come up with the names for the actual categories, but I'm going to gamify it as best as possible because it is here for a competitive reason. People do get quite competitive with this stuff. So, oh, you like the GUI? I thought you said link it. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's I do like it. Yeah, it's we've had a professional team working on this website. I give them sort of a brief as to what I wanted there and how I wanted it laid out. But they went away and did the fonts and sort of the theme and the aesthetic. And now I'm just going through and just fine tuning it because I am being so pedantic with this. You know, this is my baby in a way. I've buried the last 9 months of my life into this. I've got so much time into this. It needs, thing is with a benchmark tool though, it has to be absolutely perfect because like one bug in a benchmark tool and the whole thing breaks down, and you can't really do too much to it after it's released, or else every score that's gone before it is potentially void. So you have to make sure it's bang on. You really don't want to be releasing a benchmark tool that's unreliable, or else people will be, they'll lose faith and confidence in it. See you later, Cardman. Yeah, I'm gonna. Christ, is at the time. Right, I was only going to be on for half an hour. I'm going to shoot. I might only get one lap on the Nürburgring now. So thanks very much for hopping along. Do appreciate it. I think I clarified everything I needed to clarify like an hour and a half ago. So anyway, yeah, thanks for coming along. I enjoyed that. I've missed these live streams. I might do some more. But yeah, thanks again. Hopefully you guys are all sticking with me for the journey. Do appreciate it if you do. Yeah. I've still got the Discord server going. For all you guys that are still in the Discord, I've not been in it in the last week or so. I've been buried into the benchmark tool in the last week. So we are like in the final throes of some bug testing and doing that website. So I've been putting all my time into that, and then just after that's done, wanting to relax in the Nürburgring. But yeah, so I might, now that the join and the whole Patreon thing's closed, I might open Discord up to more people. So we'll see how that goes, because I'm kind of curious to hear more feedback from people about how the channel's going and what you want to see, in the days after, sort of inventor tips and tricks. So I think Discord's the best place for that. Comments in YouTube are not. Can't really engage with people too much in those. You just lose track of them. And I don't get notified of them either. So, yeah, okay. Thanks very much. And I will see you guys in the next one, whenever that is. Doodle pip. I'm still going. Oh, yeah. Toodles.